Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is Bellator 268. There's two important fights within the light heavyweight division. They're light heavyweight tournament fights. This is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for the co-main event, Ryan Bader versus Corey Anderson. The main event, I'll also be doing a prediction video for Vadim Nemkov defending his title. It was supposed to be against Rumble Johnson, but Rumble Johnson pulled out. Now they have a late notice replacement. I'm disappointed in that fight, but I'll also be doing a prediction video for that as well, so be on the lookout for that. If I already have it done by the time you're watching this video, I'll put the link in the description, but it may not be done just yet. So do me a favor, guys. If you enjoyed these prediction videos for Bellator, make sure to like the video. I'll do more in the future. But you have Ryan Bader, Corey Anderson, both guys former UFC fighters. Ryan Bader has not fought in the UFC for almost 6 years. His last fight in the UFC was in November 2016 against Little Nog. And since he went to Bellator, he's had a great bit of success. At one point, he was double champion. He was the light heavyweight champion and the heavyweight champion. He's since lost the light heavyweight title to Vadim Nemkov. He's still the current heavyweight champion. So he's had a lot of success. His only loss in Bellator is to Nemkov. So you look at his career in Bellator, he beat Phil Davis. He beat Linton Vassell. He beat Matt Mitrione. He beat Fedor Emelianenko. His last win was April of this year against Lyoto Machida, which I consider a pretty decent win. Lyoto Machida is not completely washed at this point. Ryan Bader has always been, a guy that I believe is a high-level light heavyweight, but I never believed that he would achieve, to be a champion of the UFC. And I know, it's starting to blur the lines of what organization has the best fighters. I think Bellator fighters get far too much crap, and they're better than they get credit for. Ryan Bader, I wish he would have stuck around in the UFC. I don't think he would have ever been champion, but he was a good, I don't want to call him a gatekeeper, but that's basically what he would have been. He would have been able to gauge the up-and-coming young guys against Ryan Bader. We knew his skills, his heavy, wrestling base. He had some decent power within his hands, and he had been around for a while. I mean, he's getting up there. He's 39 years old now. And, he's coming into this fight against Corey Anderson. And you look at Corey Anderson lost to Jan Blachowicz by KO, and then the UFC releases him. He comes over to Bellator. He gets 2 wins against not that great of opponents, Melvin Manhoef. I can't believe he's still fighting. The other guy's name I cannot even pronounce, but he TKOs both of those guys. So he's on a 2-fight win streak right now. Corey Anderson was still highly rated in the UFC top 10 when he was released. And had he beat Jan Blachowicz, there was talks that he was going to get the next light heavyweight title shot. So it was crazy to see the UFC let him go, but it was kind of, even though it was years apart, that loss to Jan Blachowicz was only February of 2020. Even though it was years apart, Ryan Bader and Corey Anderson were on a similar trajectory as far as they were having some success within the UFC. They were decently ranked within the UFC and decently, people thought highly of them. But for some reason, the UFC said, you know what, I don't like their style or whatever. I don't like how they carry themselves. And they just said, you know what, go ahead and go to Bellator. And before the Jan Blachowicz fight for Corey Anderson, he fought Johnny Walker. And a lot of people were so high on Johnny Walker. They still are for some reason. And they thought Johnny Walker was going to go out there and obliterate Corey Anderson. And Corey Anderson went out there and stopped him in the first round. I was actually live there at UFC 244 for that fight. It was insanity. Hurt Johnny Walker badly on the feet. And I think it ended up being a stand-in TKO. So Corey Anderson, has some decent wins throughout his career. Johnny Walker in the UFC, Glover Teixeira. There's probably his best wins. He beat Jan Blachowicz back in the day at UFC 191 all the way back in 2015. I don't know how much that means now. Looking back, that's so long ago. But this is an interesting matchup because even though, I say him and Ryan Bader's career kind of have a similar trajectory, they also have very similar styles. Both have heavy wrestling bases. Both have decent power within their hands. Both have okay to mediocre striking. Corey Anderson is the younger fighter. You look at the tail of the tape. Corey Anderson's 32 years old. Ryan Bader actually misspoke. He's 38 years old. He's working on 39. Corey Anderson's 6'3", Ryan Bader's 6'2", but Corey Anderson has a massive reach. Corey Anderson has a 79-inch reach. Ryan Bader has a 73-inch reach. So this is a very interesting fight from the perspective of who's going to win because guys that have similar skill sets, it's always hard to try to predict who's going to win. It's, I hate to compare this fight because it's nothing like it, but you look at Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington, they both have very similar skill sets, And look how great that first fight was between them. And it's something similar here because I really don't believe either guy is going to be able to take the other guy down. I think their wrestling probably cancels each other out. I think they probably have about the same level of jiu-jitsu. I would favor probably Corey Anderson as far as power, but it's pretty close. I wouldn't say he has some crazy knockout power. Neither guy really has the craziest knockout power or anything like that. I just still can't believe Ryan Bader's the current Bellator heavyweight champion. That speaks to the depth of the Bellator heavyweight division. So I give Corey Anderson probably the speed advantage. He's the younger guy. I think he's probably taken less damage throughout his career. I don't remember him ever getting KO'd in the UFC other than Jan Blachowicz. Let me check it out real quick. No, he has. He has been KO'd several times. I forgot. He got KO'd by Jimmy Manuwa. He got KO'd by Ovince St. Preux. Ryan Bader, I remember him getting KO'd by Anthony Johnson, Glover Teixeira, also Lyoto Machida. So both guys have been knocked out quite a few times. Honestly, I forgot about that. I'm just looking through their resumes right now. But I just think that if I had to go with a prediction, and this is a hard fight to pick, honestly. I think you can really flip a coin. You can't go wrong with either pick. But if I had to lean one way or the other, I'm leaning Corey Anderson. I think he's just a younger fighter. I think he's faster. I think he has a little bit more power in his hands. I think Ryan Bader's getting up there in age. He's slowing down. His last fight was against Lyoto Machida. Didn't look that great. It was a unanimous decision. It was a relatively boring fight. Ryan Bader utilizes his wrestling to win the majority of his fights, and he's not going to be able to take Corey Anderson down and lay on him. It's just not going to happen. I think that Ryan Bader probably has a little bit better submissions. He submitted Alexander Gustafsson back in the day. Corey Anderson, I feel like he has the power advantage. I already talked about that, but not by much. And the speed advantage. So I really think the wrestling cancels each other out. I think the fight stays on the feet, and I think Corey Anderson's the better striker. I think he outstrikes Ryan Bader. And you know what? I'll go. Both guys now. Refreshing my memory a little bit, looking through their record. Both guys are a little bit chinny. Both guys are a little bit chinny. I am going to go Corey Anderson's second round KO. It could end up being a decision for Corey Anderson, but I'm just going to say Corey Anderson's second round KO. Ryan Bader's a little bit chinny. I could honestly see either guy getting KO'd in this fight, but I think the wrestling cancels each other out. I think the fight remains standing, and Corey Anderson gets the better on the feet. I think he has better leg kicks. I think he's just faster overall. He's the younger fighter, and I just think he gets the job done. And Ryan Bader's kind of getting up there in age, getting towards the end of his career. I just don't see him beating Corey Anderson. Especially looking at his last two fights. He beat Lyoto Machida in unimpressive fashion, loses to Vadim Nemkov by TKO head kick. No contest against Czech Congo, but I don't really care about that fight too much. It was an accidental eye poke in the first round. But I think Corey Anderson's a solid fighter, and I think he gets the job done against Ryan Bader. Second round KO. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you so much for watching.